Hello, welcome back to the Off Grid family. Today I'm going to be finally getting around to making George, my son's standing desk. He's wanted one for quite some time, but my health's taken a bit of a beating recently, so I've spent more time doing designing and getting it exactly how we want it on paper first. And hopefully, it will all work as intended. Before I get on, I'd like to thank David, my Patreon. Thank you so much, dude. Been here since the beginning. All your support is awesome. If you'd like to become a Patreon, just pop down in the description. There's a link to Patreon. You get behind the scenes access and various other bits and bobs. But anyway, let's get on.
Okay, we're going to start off with our first leg, which consists of two pieces of wood. These are 73 centimeters by 9.5. I'm going to butt them up against the edges, and then I'm going to draw down them so that we know where we're going to be connecting our wood together. And this just gives us an L bracket kind of thing for holding in the rest of the leg bits and bobs to help it go up and down, but I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, so I've now glued and screwed these together in an L shape and onto the actual mechanics that allow this to go up and down. Okay, so we've got the actual sort of the legs, and there'll be a base put on here, and I've cut the pieces that would go up and down, but I couldn't figure out how to make it so that they'd go up and down without having any wobble. And I went on the best resource in the world, YouTube, and I found this guy here, and he'd used draw runners, and it was just such a genius idea. So I copied him, and that's going to be the idea I use now, and it is completely his idea. I was going to have poles coming out of other poles, but then I was worried about them getting stuck and, all sorts of stuff. Draw sliders was such a genius idea. So I'm going to literally do exactly what he did with the draw sliders, and I'm going to just whop a draw slider on the inside edge here, and here, and this will then slide up and down it like that. I've cut these exactly 73 centimeters, which is the exact same as the legs, and I'm going to install the draw sliders now. Okay, so the draw sliders are on. They're not great because I'm terrible at putting drawers on in general, so 2 in this sort of angle is quite difficult. So there is a bit of resistance here, but obviously the weight of everything else will close that anyway. Right, next to put on the feet, which is just going to be a piece of board, which I've pre-drilled the holes, and we're going to glue it and stick it like that. Okay, so now they've got some feet on them to hold them up, and obviously this will go up like this, and next we need to put some base stations on each of these. I don't know what I'm calling them, but a piece of wood that will then attach to the main thing. I'm going to attach it directly to here, and then on the sides I'm going to put something to support it on all sides, and then that will be what pushes up the actual top of it kind of thing, and then we need to also connect up the actuator to this side, which will then connect to the top of the piece of wood that we're connecting to this. Okay, this is wood from an old treadmill, and I'm going to measure it out into 2 equal pieces around this size. It's not exact. I need to cut all this knobbly bit off, but then it's going to be around 1 foot by 1.5 foot, 2 foot, something like that. Again, it doesn't have to be super accurate. Maybe it's going to be a little bit shorter actually. But as I say, I'm just making it up as I go along. I didn't say that, but I am now. Right, so this is it with the little bit on top, and it's been connected to the runner, or runners. So it comes up and down like this. Turn it this way. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to have the actual actuator here, the actual actuator, and that will be pushing up on here. So that will be where the actuator lives, and that'll be at the back, out the way, which I might then cover with something else. I'm not entirely sure yet. Right, I spoke to George about what he wants me to do with the legs colour-wise, and he wants them black. Now, there is a gap down the middle here, which I was going to fill with filler, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint everything I can and leave this out, or I might just fill it and then fill it. Nope, I might just paint it, then fill it later, but I'm not sure. But I definitely want to paint this because this looks like it's had a stain on at some point, and I want to paint it and see if it holds the colour. Sometimes the stains stop the colour from permeating, but we'll paint this bit first. And I asked him what colour he wanted, if I haven't already mentioned it, and we are going black with silver accents, and then just a nice varnished top, wooden top, no colour. So I'm going to paint this and see what happens. Yeah, it looks like it's taking the colour, so I will use a roller for that now. Right, now I'm going to be making a clip or a bracket to hold this up against the actual place where I'm putting it. And I'm just going to actually use a big piece of the wood that I've been using throughout. And this will basically clip around this, and then we'll screw it in here. I'll show you what I mean, but this will be sped up because it's not going to be that interesting watching me measuring stuff. But hopefully it will work. Okay, so there it is. It's not the greatest fit, but it's okay. Hang on, let me get it in a sec. There's a bit of wobble, but I will be putting probably a rubber grommet of some kind in there anyway. But that's one of them. I'm just going to go and make another one now. Okay, there they both are. They're not great, but they do the job. So I'm going to paint them up. Well, actually I'm going to drill the holes to connect them, and then I will show you exactly what they do and where they go. Okay, so I've painted them both, and I'm not sure if I mentioned, but obviously it would have been so much easier to have painted these before I'd stuck it all together, but we just weren't sure what colour we wanted it. Originally, George wanted it as wood, just like plain bare wood, and we were going to stain it, then we weren't going to stain it, and then it was like, let's do it in black. And it wasn't him being indecisive, it's just that we hadn't decided, and I wanted to get on with it, so it was sort of me pushing ahead before we'd finished the plans. But I'm glad we did it in black. I think it looks really, really good now. So next what I need to do is add the actuators to it. I've also painted our little actuator clip thing, but I need to get those drilled out, which I'll do in a minute. But then we'll attach the actuators. Right, so I've connected it to the things that they come with, the like whatever they're called, I'm not entirely sure. And I've got a pin through it at the moment, which I can put a pin thing through. What are these called? Hang on. What are these things called? I think I knew once upon a time, but I genuinely can't remember. But it's the thing that goes through the pin and you bend it out and it stops it coming out. Could you give me a comment and tell me what they're called? Also, I've then connected it at the top, let me show you. Once again to one of the stand thingies, and then I've connected it to a piece of freestanding wood. Now, this, at present, can go up and down, and I've put it to this piece of wood. Number one, to give it some more distance, so it doesn't have to travel so far to start. But also, so we've got a little gap, so the table never goes fully down, and basically would never be able to go fully up, so it shouldn't pull itself apart even if I do screw this down, which I haven't decided yet. So I may be connecting these two together, I don't know. But let's test the actuator quickly. Right, at present I haven't put the clips in holding this in place yet. This will go here, but I have to slide it down, but I need to paint a few bits again. But let's see if this works to some degree. Okay, this battery's running low. Okay, that'll do. I'm not going to put it up any higher. It's working, all good. Right, we're going to do the first test of both actuators at the same time. Hopefully they fire up and go the same height, so that would be depressing if it doesn't. And yes, I'm using bulldog clips to hold all the wires together because I'm too lazy to solder anything right now. 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Why is the other one not going up? Right, second try. I just did the worst bit of soldering I have ever done in my life, and I've basically set up a GoFundMe page for those soldered bits. awful. Right, okay, let's try and see if these work now. Seriously, is this battery dead too? Okay, next I need to hide these wires, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them coming through here, and I'm going to drill a hole so they go straight through into this foot, or whatever I'm calling it, and then it will go through the connecting piece of wood that I will be putting here, and we'll go from there, I think. Right, I've put 2 sets of angle brackets on. This one here is for a central support, and this goes up with the table. So when the table goes up, the central support always stays there. And this one is directly on the floor, and this will have a hidden conduit in it for all the wiring. So the wiring from this will go into this leg, under here, and through the actual piece of wood, and connect up to all the power supply and etc. Okay, so I haven't screwed them all in yet, but this is what it'll be like. And as I say, this one goes up and down with the table, so there's always a support towards the centre. I'm denied about having it higher, but I wanted also somewhere for George to be able to put his feet. So we're going to possibly make a little cushioned area so he can have his feet up while watching stuff and doing work. But that will be a future project. Next, I need to now start with the electronics. So that is my next job. Okay, so I've added a cross base at literally the base, and then I've added one across from the actual piece of wood that is connected to the actuators, or that goes up and down. So basically that just means that there's always something holding it together across the centre, because you don't want it to sort of pull itself apart. Just to orientate you, this here is the bottom, and this is the bit that will be on the floor, and so I've cut these grooves out for hiding the wiring. So I'll show you how that goes now. I'm not sure how well this will come out on camera because I've painted it all, but I've done grooves for the wiring, and basically the wires can come up through here, possibly, hang on, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting them all the way around here, because I haven't decided what type of wiring I'm going to do yet. So I made it so that I can have a channel that goes all the way along here, or it can just pop down here like this. And what this does is goes into the actual angle bracket thing that I've put here and drilled a hole in. And then this is actually the support for the legs, and then this actually has a trough in it too, so that the wire can go down it, and basically this way I can hide all the wires once it's all connected together.
We bought this second-hand conduit to put the rest of the wire in, that stuff that we can't hide, the stuff that has to come out and connect to the bits and bobs. And I just thought this would look nice because it's got the silver look, and it just looks similar to all the other silver plus black stuff. I just thought it'd look nice. Okay, so this is the bottom, and this is the area where all of the wiring is going to go, and I've drilled a hole here that goes up into sort of the gully that the wires are going through, and I've drilled it so it fits in our nice little 12-volt adapter doojit. Can you even see that? Not really. Okay, so it'll fit our little 12-volt adapter thing there, and this will be then wired in, and I'm using a remote control device to be able to raise and lower this, and I bought it. All the prices will be in the description, but I'll show you how that's wired up in a second, and then you'll understand how simple this is to put together. Okay, so here it is, and it's as simple as the 12-volt adapter goes into here, and then this goes to the actual actuators. I'll obviously have to do a splitter for the actuators, and they'll both go to this, and then it's a case of up, down, and stop. So you literally can just press this and it will keep going up until you press the middle button, or until it gets to the maximum length it can go. And then you've also got this one, which is actually connected to the table, so if you don't want to use the remote, you've got access to this. And this one will be going on the side of the left leg, I believe. And yeah, it's just very simple, straightforward. Okay, so here we go. We've got it all
wired in, and as I said, all of the wires are through the bottommost bar. And now what we need to do is we need to stain the piece of wood, which is the top. This piece of wood is for another one I'm doing for him, but that's just a standard desk. So we need to stain this and get it all looking nice, and then we just need to attach it. Right, okay, so now it's time to put that on the top. Right, I've screwed through into the top tabletop, and I've made sure the screws aren't too long so they don't penetrate the top. Now I'm going to actually put in all of the pin things, whatever they were called. Okay, pins are in. Now let's see if it's all working still. Okay, there you go. I'm really happy with it. Works exactly how I wanted. He loves it, already using it. He came back from rugby in absolute agony. He was like, yeah, but I'm still going to stand up because I've got a new standing desk. And the bloody plonker just stood there, you know, for ages, even though he was in pain. But yeah, loves it, and it really, really does work well. He is over the moon, and I hope you enjoyed it and hope it's helped you. So if you've got any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will try and help you as best as I can. Again, I'd like to thank David. Thank you so much, dude, for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to become a patron, you know where to go. Anyway, thanks so much. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.